If your first AI project is a chatbot, you may be automating the loudest part of your business, not the most valuable. A chatbot talks, but most small businesses do not have a talking problem. They have a follow-through problem. A lead arrives, a promise gets made, a task changes hands, and somewhere between those moments, something important quietly disappears. The best first agent among is not the one customers see. It is the one that notices what your business is about to drop. And there is one characteristic that makes a workflow much safer to automate. We will get to it before you choose yours. AI is moving beyond single questions and answers. Modern agents can gather context, use tools, and carry work across multiple steps. That does not make them employees, and it does not make them infallible. It makes them capable of following a bounded procedure. At AI Momentum Labs, we call the useful version a follow-through agent, a system built to move one recurring commitment forward. Not everything, not your entire company. One commitment, repeated often enough that failure becomes expensive and success becomes measurable. Imagine a potential customer fills out your website form at 9:47 on a Tuesday night after your team has left. The chatbot first approach opens a bubble and waits for that person to ask the right question. That is useful, but passive. The follow-through approach notices the form, checks the request, retrieves the right context, and prepares the next responsible action. By morning, the inquiry is organized. The owner has a clear summary, and nothing had to pretend to be human. A reliable agent like this has 4 parts. Remove any one of them, and the system becomes fragile very quickly. Part 1 is the trigger, the event that tells the system work has begun. A form arrives. A meeting ends. A payment fails. A customer replies. A deadline approaches. Good triggers are concrete. They do not depend on the AI guessing. Part 2 is context, the information needed to make the next step useful. Policies, history, status, ownership, and the actual request. Without context, even a brilliant model produces generic work. It may sound polished while being completely wrong for your business. Part 3 is a bounded action. Draft the reply, update the record, create the checklist, route the exception to a person. Bounded matters. The agent is not told to improve customer service. It is told exactly what outcome this step must produce. Part 4 is approval and record. The system shows its work, asks when consequences rise, and leaves a trail afterward. That trail is what lets you review mistakes, improve instructions, and know whether the automation is helping or merely moving faster. Now combine those 4 parts. The form triggers the workflow. The agent reads the request and checks the customer record. It classifies the inquiry using rules you approved, drafts a response, and flags anything unusual instead of improvising around it. A person reviews the draft. When approved, the system sends it, updates the pipeline, and schedules the promised follow-up. The visible result is not artificial intelligence. It is a business that remembers what it said it would do next. This is where many AI projects go wrong. They begin with the most impressive capability instead of the most reliable workflow. They automate the exciting edge case, connect 5 tools, and discover that nobody agreed on the process hiding underneath. AI cannot rescue a workflow whose ownership, inputs, rules, and definition of done are still changing every Tuesday afternoon. So before selecting a tool, write the current process on one page. Where does work enter? Who owns the next decision? What information is required? What can the system safely prepare? Which action needs a human? And what proves completion? Now, the safety characteristic promised earlier. Start with work that is reversible. If the agent is wrong, you can easily undo it. Drafting is reversible, tagging is reversible. Creating a reminder is reversible. Sending money, deleting records, or making promises may not be. Reversibility lets you learn without turning every error into a customer problem, a financial loss, or a frantic apology. Use a 4-rung ladder. On rung 1, the agent observes the workflow and reports what it would have done. On rung 2, it drafts the work, but a person completes every action. You are testing judgment before granting authority. On rung 3, it acts only after approval. The human checks exceptions while routine work becomes faster and more consistent. On rung 4, it executes low-risk, reversible steps automatically, records each action, and escalates anything outside its boundaries. You do not climb because the demo looked good. You climb because the evidence shows the previous rung is reliable. What should never be your first automation? Emotional complaints, unusual refunds, legal commitments, medical decisions, or unrestricted access to money. These workflows combine ambiguity with consequence. They need mature controls, clear accountability, and usually a human decision at the center. A safer first candidate happens frequently, follows stable rules, uses information you already have, and produces an outcome you can measure. Meeting follow-ups, intake summaries, document routing, status reminders, and internal reporting often fit that pattern better than a public chatbot. The right answer depends on your business. The selection test does not. Frequent, stable, reversible, measurable, and painful when forgotten. This is the lesson emergency response teaches better than technology marketing. The procedure matters more than the gadget. A powerful tool inside a vague process creates faster confusion. A capable tool inside a clear procedure creates dependable leverage. So do not begin by asking which AI agent should I buy. Ask which recurring commitment my business keeps dropping. Name that task in the comments. Next, we will map one workflow on a single page, without jargon, hype, or a sales pitch.